Hey, everybody, it is Matthew, and I'm getting word from Kristen that she doesn't see me yet, but hopefully that'll be popping up. I am today going to be doing a live goal setting workshop, and this particular goal setting workshop is going to come at you from a completely different perspective. It is the perspective of enlightenment, and enlightenment is not a religion. It's not an Eastern mystical thing. Enlightenment is just it's a perspective. It's an inner knowing about the world. And what I found is when you add enlightened perspectives to the goal setting process, it's crazy what happens. It's absolutely amazing. Your ability to achieve and accomplish goals is accelerated massively. And I think even more importantly is that when you add enlightened perspectives to your goal setting process, you're actually able to change the world very rapidly because the world ultimately for you is a function of the perspective that you have. It's a function of your way of seeing things. And I think you're going to be absolutely shocked when you start to add in some enlightened perspectives. Thanks for the love, everybody. I appreciate that. I got my Facebook thing over here. I got my notes right here in front of me. So you'll see me kind of glancing on and off to engage you and say hi to you. But you're going to be blown away because the truth is an enlightened perspective transforms your experience of the world. And I'm going to propose that that's what you're actually trying to do. When you're setting goals, you're trying to transform your experience of the planet, of the world for you, right? So let's go ahead and dive in. I wrote down some notes here. Let me just get my notes to be in a place where it's easier for me to look at them. Okay, so the first thing that I want to take note of is that we set the same kind of goals, some version of the same goals over and over and over and over, right? You want to lose weight, you want to make more money, you want to save more money, you want to start investing for the future, you want to find that spouse, find that mate, it's like some version of the same goal happens over and over and over. And for me, I start to think like, why do I keep setting the same goals over and over and over, even though for the most part, I feel like I never accomplished them, right? So the effect is that you feel like you're on this never-ending treadmill. You feel like you never arrive, and you wonder why other people seem to have it all, and you don't. This is like what happens when you're doing normal goal setting. Now, the underlying cause, hey, everybody, I see y'all. The underlying cause here is different than what you think. Why does this happen? Why do we set the same goals over and over and over? Why do we feel like other people accomplish and achieve more than us and we don't, and it feels like, I'm always behind and I'm never there yet? Why? And I want you to write something down for me if you're going to take some notes. This would be something to write down. So just write down the underlying cause of not achieving goals is context. The underlying cause of not achieving goals is context. Howdy, everybody. Hi there. I'm seeing Juan and Christy and Lisa and Rocky and Jim and Carol. I just want to acknowledge all of you guys on right now, as that's at least the list that I can see at this moment. So I think the thing that we need to look at is that context is the way you see the world. So what I'm saying is that your goal setting process is actually being impacted by the way you see things more than the actions that you're taking, and more than the conditions that are present. So often we say, Matthew, I want to achieve my goals, but it never seems to work out for me. And it's like we're pointing to, something in the world is blocking, and then something inside of me is blocking. So I think you're high conscious enough to know that there's something inside of you blocking, but the world actually out there is not blocking you in any way from getting what you want. It is really only the context that you're holding, and the context is really the words that you use to describe the conditions and the circumstances of your life. So the typical solutions that we try to employ here is we try to get inspired. So we'll listen to some new audio, we'll watch a new video, we'll create a dream board, we'll write a whole new set of goals, we'll go drive that car, we'll go look at that house, we'll visualize, we'll do affirmations, we'll do all these things to try and ramp up our energy to make things happen. You know what I'm saying? Thanks everybody for all the love, and hi Robin, hi Danny, hi Monica, hey Cuthberto and Lynn. Thanks for being here. You know, we try to manipulate ourselves to see if we can get our goals to happen. And I don't know about you, but it doesn't work really well. And I want you to write down 2 things for me, please. So write these 2 things down from an enlightened perspective. I want you to write down that your goals make you feel bad because you're trying to fix something. Your goals make you feel bad because you're trying to fix something. Your goals make you feel bad because you're trying to fix something. I'm going to put that in the comments here for you. Boom, paste. Your goals make you feel bad because you're trying to fix something. That's one thing, okay? The other thing that I want you to write down is this, is that you're trying to fix your broken life, except it's not actually broken. So the goals that you've been setting have a context that is ineffectively set. You're trying to fix your broken life, except it's not broken. So you say, I need to increase my income this year, and here's the thing that messes you up. Because, and then everything you say after because is a lie. It's not true. I need to improve my relationship with my children because, and everything you say after because is a lie. It's because creates a conditional bind. The conditional bind itself is not true. There's no because. It really comes down to, I want to. That's it. I want to. But you don't live like I want to. You live like I have to. And that ineffective context is set because you haven't embraced enlightened perspectives. When you embrace enlightened perspectives, you realize nothing really matters. I don't have to do anything. Write this down. Use enlightened perspectives to recontextualize your goals. Use enlightened perspectives to recontextualize your goals. Let me put it in the thing for you here. Use enlightened perspectives to recontextualize your goals. Hey, Robin, I see you there. So, and there's Nancy. Hi, everybody. So use enlightened perspectives to recontextualize your goals. Let's talk about that. Recontextualization is the skill of describing the circumstances of your life in a way that empowers you. That's it. So it's a enlightened skill set. It's the recognition that the source of life in you is the source of life in everyone and everything else. That we're all just one thing expressing itself with infinite variety. And therefore, if the source of life in you is the source of life in everyone and everything else, the only thing that is creating your experience is what you're saying about it. The way in which you're relating to it is what is actually impacting you. Okay? And Kristen says that I'm out of focus. Am I out of focus for other people as well? I'm hoping that I'm not. It might have been when I went up like this and then back like that. You know what I'm saying? Good. Hello. I'm all ears. Good. Hi, Troy. Glad you're here. So, and hi, Vicky, and hi, Charles. And I just was acknowledging some of the people. Dan just got on. Hi. And Dan said, no, I'm not out of focus. And Anita's there as well. Hello, everybody. So what's the real solution here? The real solution is actually to use enlightened perspectives to recontextualize. So recontextualization is the skill of describing the conditions and circumstances of your life in a way that empowers you. And enlightenment specifically is the recognition that the source of life in you is the source of life in everyone and everything. that we're all one thing expressing itself with infinite variety. Now, when you begin to master this skill set of taking an enlightened perspective and applying it to everything that you're doing, what happens is amazing. Your confidence goes through the roof. Because when you recognize that the source of life in you is the source of life in everyone and everything else, suddenly you become fearless. You become fearless. You literally stop having fear because you recognize that there's no one to fear. Everyone and everything that you're experiencing is all you. That you are it and it is you. Therefore, there's nothing to fear. It's mind-blowing what happens. On top of that, when you go into this fearless state, you suddenly take bold action because you're able to create meanings that work for you, and all the things that you feared, you start to realize, wait a second, these are just attachments to some BS reality that is not true and it's not empowering me. I'm going to let that go. And then finally, you go into profound states of peace and gratitude because you recognize the perfection of everything that you're experiencing. It's absolutely incredible. So I want you to write down a couple of perspectives about goal setting. Then we'll do a little enlightened goal setting together, okay? So I want you to write down a couple of perspectives. The first one is your goals aren't your goals. Will you write that down? Your goals aren't your goals. You are the universe, meaning you are a person that is made up of molecules. Those molecules are made up in the smallest part. The smallest parts are atoms. And what are atoms? Atoms are nuclei that seems to be fizzling in and out of reality, surrounded by what appears to be electromagnetic phenomenon that we call electrons, protons, and neutrons. It's time for you to update your perspective. This idea that you are a solid clump that matters is ridiculous. You don't matter. You're not important. You're just an expression of what is occurring here on the planet. And that is incredibly freeing. When you recognize that you're just an expression of what is occurring on the planet, you open yourself up to what is expressing itself through you. And that's what your goals are. Your goals and your dreams are ideas that are coming to you, meaning they're coming into your conscious awareness. And there's this interplay between the phenomenon that you're experiencing and your awareness. And the drunk monkey, the mechanism, the biological mechanism, takes ownership of your goals, like it thought of it and it didn't think of it. The drunk monkey, your thoughts, your identity, who you are, that's all an illusion, meaning it's just a figment of your imagination. The goals and dreams that are coming to you are literally probabilities out there in the field of all probabilities. And there is some quantum field in the background that your electrons, protons, and neutrons seem to be fizzling in and out of. So it's like convenient for you to see my hand moving back and forth. But really what's happening is my hand is made up of electromagnetic phenomenon that is disappearing and reappearing millions or billions or trillions. You know, I'm not a scientist, right? So don't quote me on this, right? But it's literally disappearing and reappearing. And it only looks solid and it only looks fluid because of the mechanism that you have for discerning or trying to understand the reality that you're in. If you really want to accelerate your goals, you start to recognize that you are existing inside of a field of all probabilities, and that field of probabilities is coming through you, and your idea to make more money this year is not your idea. It's an idea that's coming through you. So getting attached to the idea is crazy. It's sort of like when I look out in the backyard, I look out there and I see that some plants are growing and expressing themselves and really thriving, and some plants start to grow and then they don't really thrive and then they fall off. But I don't make the plants that don't thrive wrong. I don't get upset. I don't get out there and give them pep talks. I do what I can to create the conditions for those plants to grow, but they don't all grow. It's just the way that the world works. Some of your dreams are going to come into reality. Some of them are not. Your goals are not your goals. Your goals are expressions of the universe coming through this expression of the universe that we call you. And when you fully and completely get that, when you connect with that idea, it is mind-blowing how fearless and bold and creative you become. The next enlightened perspective that I want us to take on before we jump in here is I want you to say, I'll come back, Vicki. So Kristen, if you would take on logging some of these questions that are coming in, I'll come back to your questions here. Okay, guys, I want to get a couple things first in right before the goal setting workshop. I'll do some Q&A. So the next thing I want you to write down is you have to learn to ride the waves. You have to learn to ride the waves. And this is hard because we think that the universe and goal setting and life is linear. So we experience life in this linear fashion. It's a progression. Then I do this, then I do that, then I do this, then I do that, then I do this, then I do that, and then I do this, and then I do that. But that's not actually how it's working. When you look closer, what you see is things like they accelerate and then kind of fade off, and they bubble up. And if you will start to pay attention to the way that nature is flowing around you, it'll help you to be more empowered in your goal setting process. So when you set a goal for yourself, so for example, I set a goal for myself in my 20s to be speaking about the spiritual phenomenon that I was experiencing on a regular basis. It took me literally until really last year. So it took me 49 years to get to this place where I could express it effectively enough, and the conditions were set in such a way that it was effortless, appropriate, and easy for me to begin to speak about these things. Prior to that, as I would start to speak about spiritual things to the people around me, I would get shut down, or I would get thwarted, or I would speak the things and the people around me would be like, what the hell are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? So like I would have these moments where I would start to be able to speak about what I was experiencing, and then blah, it started to die. And then I would just keep going. I'm just like, oh, then I start to speak, we go a little bit more, and then it would die. And that's how our goals come into being. Some of them just accelerate right into being. But if you look back on what happened, right? So like, let's say we see, let's take like a really simple thing to think about. Let's take a rookie in baseball who year one just explodes onto the scene, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is like the most amazing baseball player we've ever seen in our entire lives. What we didn't see was at 5 years old, that person started this intention, like, I really love this game. I really want to play it. I want to play it as much as I possibly can. And it just kept going like that. They get shut down. They fail. They would suck. They were terrible. They'd learn. They grow. There's just this process of waves coming, cresting, and then going into a valley, and then cresting up and then into a valley, until finally you and I see them on the main stage, and boom, they're experiencing this huge jump. If you look at anything in your life that has had a huge acceleration, what you will see is all of these iterations that occurred prior to that. And what happens for us is we set a new goal, and then we don't come at it from an enlightened perspective. We don't recognize that the goal itself doesn't matter. You're going to die, and nothing you do is going to matter all that much, just so you know. What about someone like Steve Jobs, Matthew? And he created all this technology. Yeah, but here's the thing you need to understand. If Steve didn't create it, someone else would have created it. It wasn't Steve's idea. Steve was an expression of the universe. That's it. Yeah, but I need relevance. I need importance. No, that's just your ego trying to survive longer. That's the drunk monkey attaching meaning that isn't real to your goals, and it causes you to suffer. And if you read, for example, let's just take Steve Jobs. If you read all of his quotes and all of his stuff, you can see that he was a man who was grappling with an enlightened perspective. He was grappling with, I'm driven to make things happen, and none of it friggin' matters. Really what matters, if you even read the thing that he said on his deathbed, what matters is family and who you spent your time with and how you spent your time and the quality of your experience. And what he's contrasting is how attached and therefore ruthless and therefore angry and upset he was over his life as he was trying to give birth to the ideas that were coming through him. And while I honor and appreciate and am a huge fan of the incredible accomplishments that he had, and I too am enamored and appreciative of here's my device, right? Thanks, Steve. Amazing, right? But the thing to look at is that those things were going to come about either way, through him or through someone else. In other words, consciousness, the universe, is seeking greater states of order and complexity. And therefore, your attachment to your ideas and your attachments to your goals are going to make you miserable. And they're going to make you miserable because you're going to assign meaning that isn't real to them. You're going to try and look good, be smart, be right. You're going to try and make people think you're amazing. You're going to do all kinds of things that are tribal in nature, except what you're trying to accomplish is not tribal. What you're trying to do is thrive, but the drunk monkey turns your thriving goals into surviving goals. And the only way out is to seek greater states of enlightenment. And enlightenment is not again, I want to, for the people who are just joining us, enlightenment is not a religious thing. You can be any religion you want and seek enlightenment. Enlightenment is not an Eastern thing. The enlightenment is nothing more than a knowing. It's a knowing that what you are is what everyone else is. And that everything that you are is the universe. Everything that you're experiencing is the universe. It's a recognition of the oneness that we're all experiencing. And when you know that, and you apply that knowing to the things that you do, what you do becomes so joyous, so peaceful, so amazing. You literally are brought to tears of joy on a regular basis because you can't believe how lucky you are to be in this life. I want that for you so badly. I want that for you so badly. It's so, I want to just share it. But it takes practice, okay? It takes practice. You have to be exposed to all kinds of things in order to have that occur, okay? And that's what we're doing today. It's part of what we're doing. So you're going to ride these waves up and down. There's going to be times when there's nothing happening. You don't freak out. You just go, look, it's all happening. It's not me. I'm inspired to do this. There are times when it's coming into to fruition, and there's times when it's sort of falling apart, and it's okay. I'm born, I live, I die. None of it really matters. None of it really matters. I am an expression of what is happening here on Earth. So those are the two things that I want you to get connected to. I want to take some questions before I move into the next phase, which is we're going to dial in what your ultimate state is, and then we're going to do some goal setting on that, okay? So I'm going to now look over at my notes and look over here to Kristen, or sorry, look at the Facebook and look at Kristen and see what I need to be responding to. Okay, so Kristen, I don't know if there are questions or things. Not a lot of people say things the way they really are, like you are explaining right now. Thank you for acknowledging that, Vicky. I appreciate that. Good. And then Guy says, who doesn't want to become fearless? Exactly. Guy, the truth is that fear is biological and fear is relevant to survival. Fear is not relevant to pursuits of thriving. And the goals that you are setting for yourself are thriving goals. And therefore, to be unconscious and attach meaning to your goal that if I don't achieve this, then I'm a loser. If I don't achieve this, then I'm bad. If I don't achieve this, my family's going to suffer, right? All these things are lies. Your family's not going to suffer if you don't achieve the things that you want to achieve. Your family will figure it out, okay? You're not going to be a loser. No one really cares about you the way you think. You're not as important as you think. So these survival objectives that the drunk monkey attaches, they need to be risen above. You need to learn how to recontextualize them, and so that the survival part falls off and you can connect with the thriving part. And the thriving part is that I am this expression of the universe. The goals are coming through me, and therefore I'm going to just ride the wave of energy and just love it. The same way a surfer does, right? A surfer doesn't throw a temper tantrum when there are no waves. The surfer just goes and kicks back on the beach and waits for the waves to come again, or goes home and I'll come back tomorrow, right? And then if the surfer's on the wave riding it, woo, right? First of all, they're like, yeah, it's the best thing ever. But it doesn't last forever, right? It just lasts for, a couple seconds, really. If you have one for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, it's like, whoa, mind-blowing. So we need to get into that mindset, and that's a thriving mindset. Kristen has put some ideas up here. So, Tom, how do we fully accept and connect with that idea that our goals are coming through us? Two things, Tom. So how do we connect with this idea? One, it's going to be through a process of meditative recontextualization. So it's not just meditation. It's actually a process of healing. So you're going to heal the imbalanced parts of your consciousness. And that's really, really powerful. You can do that. So Tom, you're in the Ignite Mastermind. We do that when we get together live. So let's specifically at our next Ignite Mastermind meeting, let's make sure that you and I bring that particular process of healing our consciousness into our meeting, okay? And I think that's coming up in a couple weeks. Then the second thing is that in the P3 Academy, there's a whole process in the P3 Academy around correcting the imbalances of the hidden motives: greed, grudge, victim, illogical rules, being humble, etc., being a traitor, all of this stuff. You have to actually heal the underlying imbalanced context. So the context itself is disrupted by the old parts of your DNA and the old parts of your consciousness, which are literally programmed to survive. The only problem is you're not in a survival situation anymore. You're thriving. So you actually have to, and this is the wrong word, but I don't know another word at this moment, okay? And so this is part of the process, right? So part of the process of me teaching you the spiritual things that I've discerned is failing. And I think that it's a failure to say this, but I'm going to say it anyways because I have no other way of saying it. You have to heal your soul. Now, that's not completely true, okay? And I don't know how to explain it in this moment. I know how to do it, but I don't know how to explain it. And so let's do that when we are together, okay? It's like when you're at Epic Life Live, for those of you, I see a whole bunch of people who are watching who are going to be at Epic Life Live. When you're there, that's the only thing we're doing. We are healing the the ineffective context, the old information that came from your ancestors that is no longer serving you. You have to actually heal or correct the imbalance in the consciousness. I know it sounds weird, but that's what you do. You do that, your mind goes silent, your fear disappears, and your courage explodes, and you literally, I'm a little verklempt even just thinking about it. I'm literally, I'm trying to hold back the tears of joy just thinking about it. It's so fucking intense, okay? And I want that for you badly. I really want that for you. So two things, Tom. One, we'll do it live, and then two, get in and do all of the healing meditations on the hidden motives that are in the P3 Academy in the folder for Mental Journey to Millions 2017. Okay. Brenda says, what book are you currently reading? I am reading this book, Brenda. Two things. One, I'm reading this book. Watch. All information is available in the field. And any information that would be effective for me is available when I connect to the silence. So that's book number one. Book number two that I'm reading is a process called applied kinesiology, more commonly known as muscle testing. And it's a way that you discern whether something is strengthening or weakening to you. Not whether something is true or false, whether something is strengthening or weakening. So when you read a book, what you're reading is you're reading the author's estimation of what might be constructive. And I have great joy in all of the books that I've read and how much they have helped me improve. But my actual acceleration into states of profound bliss and absolute certainty occurred when I was able to discern whether an idea strengthened me or weakened me. So I do muscle testing. So I will test the strength of this muscle, right? So I'll say love, and it strengthens me. I can keep that up, no problem. I say hate, and no matter what I do, hate, I can't get this muscle to function. And what I found is that this strengthening and weakening is correlated to efficiency and effectiveness. And so the more I do that strengthens me, the more efficient, the more effective, the more fearless, the more courageous, the more empowered I become. And that's part of my methodology that I'm now bringing into the world. You can see it if you're part of the P3 Academy and you go on to the Mental Journey to Millions 2017, I do a ton of muscle testing there, and I do what I call the rapid enlightenment process on the entire group, something I'm really proud of. Okay, so thank you for that, everyone. I appreciate all those questions. Now I want to take you through some workshoppy things. I just want to acknowledge we're about a half hour into the training. I think we're going to probably go maybe 20 minutes more total, but we need to set some goals in an enlightened way. You ready to do that? So you're seeking to have an experience here on Earth. And the results are mostly irrelevant. So I'd like you to write that down. Write down, I want an experience and the results are mostly irrelevant. And I use the word mostly, okay, because it would be irrational for me to say that the results are irrelevant. That's not a strengthening context, right? If I say your goals are mostly irrelevant and then I test that, that's a strengthening context. I can maintain my fortitude and my physical integrity. But if I say that your goals or the results of your goals are irrelevant, that's a weakening context. It causes me to be weakened to think in that way. So when I do my investigation, I'm investigating typically in that fashion. And what I found is the more I do that strengthens me, the more empowered I become. And it's the thing that I would love to help you to do as well. So you're seeking an experience. Here's what studies show. Studies all over the world since, I don't know if you know this or not, but since the big economic crash of 2008, a whole new science has come to the forefront. It's always been there, but it's come to the forefront. It's the science of happiness. And the science of happiness has shown us now, literally millions and millions and millions of people have been studied. And what we found is you need about 70 grand a year. At about 70 grand a year, there's no more happiness that occurs after 70 grand a year. After 70 grand a year, the only way that happiness occurs is by you architecting the conditions of your life effectively and relating to the conditions effectively. So after $70,000 a year, that's it, right? Like your basic needs are met. Once your basic needs are met, the only thing that is going to create happiness is, one, it's going to be creating conditions, and then two, hold on, Kristen's sending me notes here. Two is clear up what you are reading. You talked about the meditation and the muscle testing, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. So I will clarify that in a moment. So one, I want you to work on adjusting the conditions to remove the things that you're resisting. And then two, I want you to work on the mindset or the contextual framework that releases your resistance. So it's just about your experience, and that's it. Okay, so just write this down. Write down, what I actually want is some personalized form of happiness. What I actually want is some personalized form of happiness. Kristen asked me to clarify what I was reading, and the answer is I am not reading anything anymore. Every once in a while I'll read books with Kristen. You know, she loves to read books on money and investing and marketing and things like that, like tactical skill-based type things, and we enjoy some of those things. But in terms of creating a better experience for myself, or be improving myself as a person from a personal development standpoint, I've completed that segment of my life, and I've moved into the recognition that all is well in the world, and therefore there's nothing to improve. So it doesn't mean that I don't improve, because I am an expression of the universe, and the universe is naturally going into higher states of complexity, efficiency, and it's removing resistance. Okay, so I want to ask you a set of questions. I want you to answer these questions, and then from the answer to these questions, I would like you to begin to discern what your version of happiness is. Okay, so I want you to write down, we're going to use a very simple trick, and the trick is going to be one of finance. Okay, so I want you to write down a financial goal for me for 2018. What's the hit it out of the park financial goal for you? Like, you'd be blown away if this financial goal occurred. What is that? Write it down, please. Now, don't worry about if the goal can be achieved. Don't worry about all this, because here's what happens. The mind immediately goes, you're a loser. You write these things down. They never happen. Or your mind goes, God, I keep writing these down. I hope they happen someday. I really want them to happen, right? This stuff like that. Don't worry about all that stuff. Instead, answer this question. What's important to you about achieving that goal? Don't write down the question. Write down the answer, please. What's important to you about achieving that goal? Kristen keeps telling me I'm out of focus, and can you correct that? And of course, I would love to, except I'm on a webcam, which I don't have any control over its focus. So I don't know what to tell you there, darling, but I don't appear to be out of focus when I look at myself on the on Facebook, or when I look at myself. So it must be something going on in your feed over there. I don't know what it is. Okay, boom, here we go. So now she says, okay, fine. I'm going to have to totally focus now on my presentation. All right, here we go. So the first question is, what's important about achieving that goal? Then the next question that I have for you is this. The next question is, how is that important? The achievement of that goal and what you just wrote down. Like, what will that do for you? What you just wrote down. What will that do for you? Write down some things that'll do for you. So for me, for example, I put on, so I have a financial goal, and then I say, okay, well, what's important about that to me? And my answer might be something like, I want to place some new bets this year that reduce my volatility and create different income streams so that the volatility of my coaching business and the volatility of my my online business with P3 start to be reduced because I have other income streams that are sort of trickling in money over in this way, and it makes it less up and down in the business. See that? So that's what's important about my financial goal. That's my answer. So then the next question is, how is that important to you? What will that do? And then I go, well, what will that do? It's just going to make, it's going to make it so that I use less mind share in the reacting to unfavorable financial conditions. So I'm going to do less mind share over there. And I can do more mind share on the things that are important to me that I like to focus on. There's my answer. What's yours? So then here's the last question. Ultimately, if you take everything that you wrote down, ultimately, what will all of that do for you? Can you boil that down to one word, maybe 2 words at the most? Some kind of experience that you're trying to have? For me, I think that experience is one of, let's call it creativity, ease, flow. What is it for you? So put your word in over here on the side. I want to see. Okay, what'd you put down? What's your word? So mine was creativity, ease, and flow. Those are my words. How about you? What about you? Put some of your words in over here on the side so I can see what you have to say about it, and see if you're getting it. Okay, Becky, confidence and security. She puts down. What about you? What are your words? Put them in. I just want to see what. I want to make sure you're getting this. Okay. Then Lisa put in the word security, just feeling secure. Then we have Gabe put in present, to be present. Tom, free, secure, and happy. Sue, relaxation, security, and joy. Patty, freedom and flow. Robin, freedom and creativity. Brenda, ease and peace. Manish, joy and peace. Brenda, freedom, peace, being a giver. Dan, freedom and ease. Vicky, on and on. Thank you, everybody. We keep going. Power and confidence from Andrew. Confidence from Victor. Joy from Kristen. Freedom and inspired from Vicky. So this state is your ultimate state. This is what you're looking to do, okay? So it's kind of like this. Every idea that you have, every goal that you want to achieve, if you really get honest about the goal, you're trying to achieve that state. And here's what you need to know. You do not need to achieve the goal to get to that state. To get to that state, you need to find it in your life now. And when you find it into your life now, what will happen is your heart will literally explode with joy. In other words, you'll go into a state of all is well. And the state of all is well is an enlightened state. You don't need to achieve the results that you're talking about. Now, will you achieve the results that you have for your goals? You might. You might actually achieve them. But you don't need to. And because you don't need to, man, oh man, can you be bold and audacious and badass and kick-ass? Because you don't need to, it's insane what you will do because you're not attached. It's really cool. I'm getting emotional again. I'm finally speaking about the things that I want to speak about. And I'm finally able to articulate what I have been experiencing over these years. And it's been getting progressively more intense. But it's so delicious. It's so mind-blowing that I literally get overwhelmed with joy and happiness, and I can barely contain myself. And my God, I want that for you. So here's your job. Your job is to take your list of goals this year and start to look at, how am I already experiencing this state in this area? And then if I'm not, then I need to do something about it. So let's write down the procedure, okay? Step 1. Go through your goal list for 2018 and rate the level of that experience. For me, creativity, ease and flow. So how much creativity, ease and flow am I experiencing there? And I'm going to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. And then I'm going to say, okay, next step, okay, once you've done that, step number 2 is identify where that experience already exists in the category of this goal. Identify where this experience already exists in the category of this goal. So, for example, let's say it's the goal of a relationship with your spouse. Where, for me, where is creativity, ease, and flow already there? I'm going to make a list of where I'm already experiencing that. Then the next thing to look at, number 3 in the process, is to identify what would increase my experience of the state, ease, flow, creativity, joy, peace, freedom, creativity, relaxation, security, happiness, present, confidence, right? Those are all the things that you guys wrote down. So how do I increase that state in that area? Now, when you do, this is literally, here's what you need to understand. When you connect with your goals in that way, your goals cause you to experience the world through an enlightened perspective. Meaning, you feel more peaceful. You feel profound states of oneness and connectedness to everything. Your fear disappears. Your joy explodes. Your ability to take action, to think about things in a very pragmatic and logical way is massively increased. Your ability to have conversations with people that are difficult, that you normally avoid, all of a sudden you're having them. You become more straight in your communication, less flowery, less trying to manipulate or dancing around. You just go wha-bam right at things. And when all of that stuff starts to happen, everything in your life gets better. Everything improves. And that's what I'm committed to for you. So that completes the workshop portion of the things. I want to just have you get connected to a couple of things. One, coming up here in March, we've got, this is March, I'm just going to read a couple things. I hope that you're planning to join me for Epic Life coming up in March 15th through 16th. That's coming up. We're also, we're going to be going through at the event the Rapid Enlightenment process. And the Rapid Enlightenment process is a set of processes that I've created that literally cause you to go from wherever you are into an enlightened state, meaning you know that all is well. You know that you're in a state of perfection. You feel home on earth for the first time in your entire life. It is the most profound thing that you will ever experience. And my goal is over 2 days to get people to go into that state. I've been practicing now for a long time. I'm getting really, really, really good. And I can now guarantee that every single person who comes to the event will go into an enlightened state. Doesn't mean you'll stay there, right? Because you'll go home. And at home, you have a whole set of conditions that will start to pull you down. But once you go up, you never go all the way back down, which is nice. So the people in the mastermind, for example, we get together, they go way up, then they go back down, they go like here, then they go way up high, then they come back, and they keep progressing, going higher and higher and higher in their amount of joy, peace, satisfaction, fulfillment, and flow. Okay. The things that you should expect if you come and join us is that your confidence is about to explode. You're going to go into an unstoppable state, and you're going to experience a level of peace that you have never experienced in your entire life. And I know that sounds like exaggeration, but I've just done it so many times now with so many people. I know what the result is going to be. So I'd love for you to join me for that. Unfortunately, Kristen and I just found out that seating is actually limited. This is not some bullshit marketing thing, okay? Seating is actually limited. We just got our workup from the hotel, and for some strange reason, we thought we had about 30% more seats than we do. Seats are available now, and if you want one, then you need to register soon, because there's an actual probability that we won't have enough seats for everybody. That's an actual thing. Okay, Kristen, I don't know the direct link to the registration, but I know that if you just go to MatthewFerry.com, it's the big green button on the front. Okay, Matthew, Epic Life Live. Join us for that. All right. So I want to open it up for questions, concerns, comments, thoughts, hallucinations, anything at all, and then we will complete. So here we go. Can you give an example of what would increase that state? This is Becky, okay? Oh, and then Kristen says, if you just go to epiclifelive.com, that'll make it happen. Okay, so Becky asked the question, she's giving it to me again, epiclifelive.com. Got it. Can you give an example of what would increase that state? Yes. What increases the state of enlightenment is several things. One, it is exposure to other people who are experiencing an enlightened state. And the good news is that I've been working with a lot of clients now for a long time in getting them into that state. So when you come and you hang out with us at Epic Life Live, something happens when you interact with people who know that all is well. Something happens to you. It like affects you. I haven't been able to discern exactly what it is yet, but something changes in your perspective when you get exposed to that. Very similar to like if you were a sailor back in the day, it was clear to everyone that the world was flat, and that if you sailed out too far, you'd fall off and die. And then all of a sudden, Copernicus comes along and he says, no, that's not the way it's working. I'm observing the Earth is actually round. And just that information, just exposure to the idea, literally transformed our relationship to the entire planet. It transformed us, and we couldn't undo it. We couldn't go back. We couldn't say, no, the world really is flat. We couldn't do it. So something about exposure. Second thing is that you have to actually be able to recognize the drunk monkey's unconscious reflexes. So the drunk monkey is like, it's like a muscle. It has a reflex. And if you can recognize what it does, then you can start to control it. You then have to heal. Again, I'm just admitting, I don't think that that's the right word, but it's the only word I know at this moment. You have to heal the underlying imbalances in your consciousness that are at the level of survival. And I call them hidden motives to survive: greed, grudge, hatred, victim, illogical rules, humble, traitor, pride, laziness, and resistance. Those 10 things right there, if you don't actually take the time to heal the imbalances in those parts of your consciousness, you'll never be able to experience and maintain the enlightened state. And then the last thing is you have to master recontextualization. So you have to basically first know that the world isn't anything until you observe it. And then from there, you have to practice utilizing language to shift the world for yourself. Those things will increase your state. I have a whole system that I use to help people to get there. Okay, how do I prepare my companion going to the event to get a better result? That is a good question. I think the best thing to do, Lynn, to prepare your companion to get a better result is to actually have them watch some of my videos, maybe get into P3 Academy, watch the Mental Journey to Millions 2017 event, Transforming Fear into Action. I just redid it, and I added now the enlightened perspective to Transforming Fear into Action. Until epic life occurs, Transforming Fear into Action, 100% the best work that I've ever done. So have them do that. Manish says last year was awesome. Looking forward to the next one in March. Thank you, Manish, for putting the link in there. Good. Here's Jason. What are those 10 things again, please? Good. So Jason, where I have a list somewhere, but I'm gonna type it in for you. Okay. Here they are. It's greed, grudge, hatred, victim, illogical rules, humble, traitor, resistance, pride, lazy. Did I get all 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, I just need a comma. Boom, there you go. There they are in the thing. Good. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Becky. The new Transforming Fear into Action rocks. Thank you for that, Nancy. And then there's my comment. Oh my gosh, I think we're getting it. Good. So my friends, I hope you'll join us for the Epic Life Live. I hope that today what we did made a difference for you. And thank you for staying on and staying a part of it and being a part of this process with me today. I'm going to go put some food in my body now and get ready to do some coaching calls. And I look forward to seeing you all soon. Please reach out if you have any questions. You can also connect with clientcare@matthewferry.com. And Karen is happy to answer any questions that you have about the things that we're doing. Thanks, everybody. Have an awesome day. See you all soon. Bye-bye.